If you own a property in the Phoenix area and you don't live here, you are one of two kinds of owners. You're either renting it out to a tenant or it's a second home. Either way, when it's time to sell, you're doing something most sellers never have to. And that is running a sale from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. I've watched out-of-state owners make the same 10 mistakes over and over. Some of them cost thousands of dollars. A couple can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Today, I'm walking through all 10 so you don't make them. And with that, let's get to it. Mistake number 1. Assuming as is your only real option because you're not here to manage a renovation yourself. Here's the thing. As is, and that is an as-is sale, doesn't mean you avoid losing money. It just means you take the loss up front, all at once, instead of spending strategically. A full remodel isn't necessarily the answer either, but a targeted renovation, surgically renovating a handful of things that actually change a buyer's offer price significantly, is a different story. Owners who do this typically spend $15,000 to $25,000 in net, $30,000 to $50,000 more at closing. That's at least a 2-to-1 return and usually more. The mistake isn't choosing as is, it's never finding out what the other option was actually worth. Mistake number 2, taking pricing and selling advice from a friend, relative, or neighbor who happens to live in the Phoenix metro area, or worse yet, in the neighborhood you're selling. Instead of finding someone competent, like a well-seasoned realtor who actually works in the market. Don't get me wrong, people mean well. That's exactly, though, what makes them so damn dangerous. A local homeowner sounds like a trustworthy, boots-on-the-ground source, but most of what they know comes down to their own house, their own one-time experience, or something they heard secondhand, full of confident-sounding assumptions that were true once for a different property at a different time. My neighbor sold in a weekend, so yours will too. That isn't data. It's likely a false conclusion based upon possibly 10 false premises. Who knows how many? Be careful, talkers. Mistake number 3, picking a price based on what you want and refusing to listen when the market tells you it's wrong. The market talks to you in the first 2 weeks. Showings, feedback, offers, or silence. Whatever you get from the market, trust me, it's talking to you. Owners who ignore it and hold their price when the market says differently usually end up chasing the market all the way down, cutting price again and again after months of sitting. By the time they finally adjust, they paid extra carrying costs the whole time and often at less than if they priced it right on day one and let it move naturally. Mistake number 4, and this one's for landlords specifically. Forgetting about depreciation recapture. If you rented the property out every year, you or your accountant likely claimed depreciation on your taxes that lowered your tax bill while you owned it. But when you sell, the IRS wants that money back at a flat 25% rate on top of your regular capital gains. Owners are regularly surprised by this at closing because nobody mentioned it until the settlement statement showed up. If you've depreciated the property for years, talk to a tax professional before you list, not after you close. Mistake number 5, and this one's specifically for second homeowners. Assuming the tax break you'd get on your primary home applies here too. If you sell your primary residence, the IRS lets you exclude up to $250,000 of gain for a single, $500,000 for a married couple. Completely tax-free. Second home does not qualify for that, not automatically. To get any version of that exclusion, the IRS requires it to have actually been in a primary residence for at least 2 of the last 5 years. If this property has always been a vacation home, assume the full tax gain is taxable. And plan accordingly instead of finding out in April. Mistake number 6, deciding to defer your taxes with a 1031 exchange, but not understanding the clock starts the moment you close. 1031 exchange lets you roll your gain into a new property and put off your tax bill. It's a real tool, but it comes with 2 hard deadlines. 45 days after closing to identify a replacement property in writing, and 180 days total to close on it. Not 180 days after the 45, 180 days total. No extensions, no exceptions. Owners who wait until after closing to even think about this lose their option entirely. If a 1031 is part of your plan, that plan needs to exist before you sign anything. Mistake number 7, deciding to sell as is without finding out what that decision actually costs you at the negotiating table. Every dollar of deferred maintenance a buyer's inspector is going to find out about, and your buyer will likely subtract that from the offer, usually at a steeper discount than the repair actually costs, because buyers price in their own risk and profit on top of it. A $10,000 fix discovered during the inspection can cost you $25,000 off your price. Be very careful about what you decide not to fix before you list a property. Mistake number 8, listening to a national headline about the Phoenix market instead of finding out what's happening in your specific zip code in your neighborhood. There is no one Phoenix market. Phoenix Metro is dozens of smaller markets stacked on top of each other. One city or neighborhood can be a strong seller's market at the exact same time another, 20 minutes away, is a buyer's market. A headline that says it's a buyer's market now might be true for one submarket and completely wrong for yours. Pricing your specific property off a national or metro-wide headline instead of what's actually happening on your street is how owners either scare themselves into underpricing or overpriced because they read the opposite headline 6 months ago. Mistake number 9, underestimating what it costs every month the property does not sell. Insurance, HOA dues, property tax, a mortgage payment, maybe a property manager's fee if you rent the property, or even if you don't rent the property out. None of that stops just because your home is on the market. Owners who price too high to leave room for negotiation, like so many people do, often end up giving that room back anyway after paying 2 or 3 or 4 extra months of carrying costs. The same costs that pile up while you're stuck on mistake number 3, which was refusing to listen to the market in the first place. Mistake number 10, accepting an investor offer, even a legitimate one, some aren't, before you actually know what a competitive offer looks like for your specific property. Every property is different. Condition, location, whether it's tenant occupied or not, all of it changes the math. A number that's fair for a house down the street can be a low ball for yours, and there's no way to tell the difference without a real benchmark, a real valuation. I won't let a client of mine accept a single offer until I've shown them exactly what a real competitive number looks like for their exact property. Not a generic range pulled off the internet. That's the only way to know if what's on the table is genuinely fair or just the first number somebody hoped you wouldn't question. Every mistake on this list has the same root cause, information or lack thereof. Takes a local team who knows your specific submarket, benchmarks every offer before you accept it, and knows the tax deadlines before they matter, not after. That's exactly what we built. Whether you're weighing a traditional sale or one that is maybe a sold as is versus a targeted renovation, or you want a fast sale with a bunch of highly competitive real cash offers competing for your property, with us you get a local team handling the parts you can't handle from where you live. Go to azabsenteeequity.com and get your free property assessment, what it's worth as is, and what it's worth with the right team behind it. I'm Matt Burkowski, and I look forward to speaking with you.